Good morning, everyone. Beks Thompson here from Be a Big. I'm here to talk about resistance because it is something that I know we all feel, and how you deal with resistance that comes up in your day, whether it's in your personal world or your professional world, is going to shape how you are able to keep forward momentum in your life or not. So as you're jumping on, just to give you a good morning. If you're watching the replay, then welcome to you. Good morning, everybody. So we are talking about how resistance shows up, because I don't know about you, but I've met a lot of people, and I included, can be a little bit all or nothing. You either for it because you feel passionate, inspired, joyful, you'll go, 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 or you pull back. And the reasons we can are manifold. It can be that we have failed in some way, or we feel we failed in some way, we feel exhausted, don't have the energy to continue, or there's a fear that comes up. Now, all of these are some level of resistance. And when we hit that pocket of resistance, it is going to slow momentum right down. So here's what to do when you feel yourself hitting that resistance. There are 3 key steps. So if you want to grab a pen and paper, grab it now, because this could be some of the most valuable stuff that you hear today, if not this week, if not this year, because everyone comes into resistance all of the time. Because I believe that even if we're not consciously aware of it, we are on a path of growth. And when you are consciously aware, you hit even more resistance, or you're aware of more resistance. And ultimately, resistance is around fear. So the first thing that you need to do is to name your resistance. When you feel yourself coming up, you need to be aware of the resistance and acknowledge it. So that is number 1. And how does resistance show up? You may just feel very resistant. That's an obvious one. You mentally are like, I do not want to resistance. You may get pain. You may suddenly not find you have the resources, whether it's the money or the time. There are lots of different ways, and let me know what ways does resistance show up for you in your life. And the first thing we have to do is acknowledge and go, I see you. I see this resistance that is coming up, and to forgive that resistance. Let it know that it's okay. It's okay. I see the resistance. And we're talking particularly here about resistance to something that you know is for your highest good. So it might be that you know you need to put yourself out in a certain way with your business, or you know that you want to do something that's really in the highest for your physical body or for your relationship. So we're talking about resistance that comes up when it's something you know for your highest self is a good thing. Yeah, it's the path that you are on. But you hit the resistance. So the first thing is to acknowledge the resistance and to forgive it, and ask yourself, okay, given that I feel this resistance, and that's okay, fear, what am I worried about? And to speak to the little person inside, the little girl or the little boy, if there's any boys watching on another page, and say, what are you scared of? I've got your back. This is where we have to reparent ourselves. I've got your back. What are you scared of in this resistance that's making you pull the handbrake up? So that's the first thing. Acknowledge that you are in resistance to something, and just forgive that, and speak to what are we afraid of here, little girl or little boy. The second thing to do is, what would feel like a slight expansion, or slightly better than that resistance, that you could do that would move you a little towards what you know is in your highest, the big resistance though. So say, for example, I'm just going to pick something like, I don't know, maybe you really want to physical yoga practice, and you know it's for your highest, because you know how amazing you feel afterwards, but you can feel resistance. So this is just a little thing, but often something that many of us might come across in our day-to-day about doing exercise. And so, there might just be the fear is that you don't have enough time, or the fear is that you're not good enough, or, and what might feel possible to do, rather than looking at the overwhelm of that whole hour that you have to do, is to do something small, is to do some restorative yoga, or just to do something that's just 5 minutes. So depending on what your resistance is and what's coming up for you, you're wanting to go, okay, is there a small thing that I could do towards this goal? Whereas if I just look at the big thing I'm feeling resistance, is there something small that I could do that would help me move towards it, that feels okay, that feels like I could do that, it doesn't feel like there's the resistance there? So that's the second thing. What could you do where there's a path of least resistance, but that is still moving you in the direction of where you want to go? And then the third thing is, after you've done that, is to reevaluate and go, okay, now how do I feel? Now how do I feel? Can I now take another step, or can I take the big step towards whatever it is that I want to do? And I know, going back to the example of, say, just doing your hours yoga practice and feeling the resistance of I don't have enough time, or it's too hard, or it's too hot, or I've got all these other things to do, there's all this mental resistance, physical resistance. But you may find that you can just lay down and do legs up the wall, a restorative pose for 5 minutes. And you can allow yourself that because there's less resistance, because it's just a 5-minute thing, and it will bring you into a little bit more center and a bit more balance. So you can allow yourself that, and you don't feel the resistance. But then perhaps once you've done that, this is the reevaluation part, where you feel like, actually, I do have the space and time. I know that this is going to benefit me, and you can feel that the resistance has gone around doing a deeper practice. So that's just one way, and you can relate this to much bigger things, to work things, to and all sorts of things that are going to come in your path. And the 3 steps to acknowledge the resistance that you're in, to name it and forgive it, and ask it what's really going on. What is the fear? You've got this girl's back. You've got yourself. You're looking after yourself. It's okay. We're not going to force you to do anything. This is what you're saying to yourself. The second thing is to see, okay, well, what is a path of least resistance here? What is something that we both feel good, you and your little girl, about doing? Move us towards this bigger thing that we feel resistance around. And the third thing is, once you've done that, then to reevaluate, well, where are you at now? Do you feel differently about that? Because when we've had a little bit of stress, when we've taken the path of least resistance and done something that feels okay, moving towards maybe a bigger goal, we've had a taste of success. And success in itself brings around a sense of faith, and I can do this, and I've got this, which helps to quell any fear that's at the root of resistance. And so you are far more likely to be able to then take that next step, and that next step, and that next step. So the next time you find yourself in resistance, whether that's physical pain, mental pain, just that kind of like freeze or going round in circles, just stop and ask yourself, what is this resistance? What is this about? What is the fear? And then take those 3 steps. Yeah, so let me know, what is a sensation? Let's have 3. What is the sensation that you feel when you're in resistance? Do you tend to get mental resistance? Does it come up physically? Does it come up financially? Yeah, how do you tend to identify that there's resistance? Let me know that. Make in the comments below. I would love to hear how resistance shows up for you. And if you have any other ways that help you to move through that, that would be amazing. All right, my lovelies, go well today. And if anyone is wanting to really take some forward momentum, really be shown lots of tools and strategies around staying deeply present so that you can unpack this stuff that we've accumulated over the years that stops us moving, And if you would like to learn embodied tools and processes around that, then check out some of the events that we have coming up, because we run half-day Art of Brilliance Without Burnout events just about every month in different around locally here to Southeast Queensland, but also the rest of Australia, to show you embodied, potent, powerful practices very much aligned to the feminine on how you can have more energy, less stress, keep forward momentum, and start to dissolve these fears and doubts that are holding you back from being able to realize your highest potential. So yeah, check out the events on my Beks Thompson Be a Beacon page, and we'd love to see you at one of those. But have an amazing day, and bye.